Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Boxing Day and Gratitude. Good morning. Hello, I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm greeting you today from my home office. And yes, I am wearing my pajamas because it's Boxing Day, December 26th, and it's a Sunday. I'm hoping many of us get to take this day off to be home and enjoy. As you may know, I lived in Great Britain for 13 years, where Boxing Day is a real thing. It's a national holiday, and almost everybody gets it off work. According to Wikipedia, Boxing Day got its name back in the days when lords and ladies had servants in their homes who served them on Christmas Day. So those folks then got the next day off as a thank you gift, and they went home to see their own families on December 26th, carrying with them a box from their bosses full of fancy leftovers and maybe a holiday bonus if they were lucky. What I remember from my time in Britain and what I loved about Boxing Day was that it was kind of like a second Christmas Day. On the first one, most people spend their day with their immediate families. But on the next day, December 26th, most people I knew went visiting. They would stop by friends and neighbors' houses, dropping cards or little gifts off, or they'd have parties or open houses that lasted all day long. And we would get invited to some of them. Folks would be so relaxed on Boxing Day, more than on any other day, really. Really? Well, this is me, folks. I'm so tired from Christmas, I didn't even turn on my camera. Here I am. Do you see me? Hi. Good morning. I'm sorry about that. I thought I had turned my camera on and I didn't. You couldn't see me here in my pajamas and my Santa hat, but now you can. Hi, everybody. So I was talking about Boxing Day and I was telling you about how in Britain I enjoyed it so much. Let me go back to that. Good morning. Here I am and welcome. Yes, so on December 26th, most people would go visiting. They would stop by people's houses and have open houses, and we would get invited sometimes. And the kids would be zooming around the house on new bikes or playing with doll houses or video games. And finally, the tired parents would get a chance to chill out and enjoy an actual adult conversation. So Boxing Day for me was very much a time of gratitude, which is the topic of today's worship service. About a month ago now, the UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, did a very kind thing. She noticed that clergy everywhere were exhausted, and she made us a gift, a meditation and a homily that we could share for the holiday season. Her topic is gratitude for these. If you don't know Susan, you really should. She was our minister in Phoenix for 10 years, where she founded the Arizona Immigration Ministry, a statewide group supporting migrants' rights. She played a key role there in the long-term battle against that corrupt and cruel sheriff, Joe Arpaio. Then Susan was elected the UUA's first woman president in 2017, and she has 2 years left now on her 6-year-long term. Speaking of our fellow UUs this morning, I want to give a warm welcome to the UUs of Marblehead, Massachusetts, who are joining us today on Zoom. Last week, their minister asked if we could host them this morning to give him a Sunday off. And I said, yes, of course we would. Because in fact, we owe them one. Because Marblehead is the congregation who hosted me in our pre-candidating week back in 2018. That's where our search committee first saw me preach in real life and thought to themselves, maybe she's the one for us. Welcome to you, Marblehead UUs. You're very welcome to be with us this morning, and stay for coffee hour if you want to chat and get to know us a little bit. For our folks, I just want to mention that next Sunday we do not have a worship service as usual, but we have a worshipful walk in the woods hosted by our Green Sanctuary Committee. Thank you, Green Sanctuary. Please meet in the parking area by First Pond at Mount Hood off Stillman Road at 10:30. And if you are at all thinking about your taxes at this moment, which I am not, but if you are and you're thinking about year-end giving, there was some helpful and pertinent info in last week's email news, so check that out. I just want to mention quickly that today's service will be a slightly different format than usual. we will forego the children's story and the prayer to make space for a 10-minute long guided meditation. I think it will really help folks who find themselves a little bit draggy today to get reset and re-energized. And I hope it helps all of us to feel just a bit more centered and ready to connect with our loved ones. So now let us greet each other in the way that we've grown accustomed to during pandemic times. If you would switch your camera on for a second and go to gallery view so we can see each other and wave and say good morning. Hi, everybody. I gotta switch to gallery view. There you are. Hello. Good morning. Oh, there is some new folks with us, or some different from usual folks. Hello, Marblehead people. Oh, I see one other Santa hat covering up the bed hair that we got going on over here. Hi, everybody. I think some of us maybe need a little more coffee this morning. It's nice to have you with us. Thanks for coming. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program now. I call us to worship this morning with one of my favorite readings for this time of the year. It comes to us from the theologian Howard Thurman, who was a leader in the civil rights movement. It's called The Work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart. Amen. Come, let us worship together. Now, along with UUs everywhere, we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. This morning, as I light this chalice, please join me if you've got a candle where you are or a chalice at home, and light yours too. Our opening hymn this morning is Dark of Winter. It has a video created by one of our ministers in Colorado, and I'll light the chalice while we're singing. Go ahead, please, and share Dark of Winter.
Ya da da, ya da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da da, ya da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da da da, ya da da da, ya Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Now let us join together in the words of our covenant, followed by the song of aspiration. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. Thank you. Every week, we take time to pause for meditation, each reflecting in our own way. Let's start this time together by relaxing into our chairs, feeling our feet on the floor, letting our bodies settle, breathing in and out together. Today, we'll do this time a little differently. Instead of the usual cycle of centering song, silence, joys and sorrows, prayer, we will instead enjoy a 10-minute guided meditation from our UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray. After that meditation, I will ask you for joys and sorrows, and then we'll hear some beautiful offertory music. So I invite you now to sit back, relax, and allow yourself to enter into this guided meditation.
I invite you, as you are willing, into this time of meditation and reflection and into this practice of gratitude. If you like to write as a way of reflection, feel free to grab a journal or a piece of paper or something to write with. It's also okay just to find a comfortable position to sit in or stand in or whatever is most comfortable for you and your body, to help you feel at ease. First, I invite you to take a few relaxing breaths. In and out. Feel free to close your eyes if that is most comfortable, or to leave them gently open. Breathe in a way that feels comfortable and relaxing. I invite you at first just to pay attention to your body. If there's a place of tension or pain, imagine breathing your breath into that part of your body. Imagine the breath sort of expanding that area of tension and then breathing out through that pain or tightness, feeling the muscles release with the out breath. With breathing in, sort of expand your attention in any area of tension. Breathe out through that area, letting the tension go. Breathing in through areas of tension and out, letting go of that tension or pain if you can. Now I invite you to Bring your attention to your heart space, to your chest, maybe your abdomen if you prefer. Again, just gentle breaths, breathing that feels natural and relaxing. And just be aware of anything that you're feeling. If you're feeling joy or calm and peace, if you're feeling sadness or grief or anxiousness, just be aware of it. Breathe alongside that feeling. Offer yourself compassion for whatever may be present to you right now. As you continue to breathe, ask yourself if there's anything or anyone you are feeling grateful for. Just ask yourself in your heart, what or who are you grateful for? Is there anyone who's caring for you, showing you care, inspiring you, comforting you? Anyone who you love, who you are grateful for? Hold that person, those people. Visualize them, hold them in the gratitude that you feel for them. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude. Breathe out that gratitude for those loved ones. I invite you to just take a few more breaths. And as you do so, I invite you to think about anything about this day, anything that's happened, anything that you're looking forward to. If you have a window nearby, maybe you can see some sky or sun or tree or rain. Just be present to that. Take it in. Hold in your attention anything that you are grateful for from this day, that you're grateful to be looking forward to in this day. Anything that's present to you right now. I'm giving thanks for the sunshine after so much rain. Just hold that gratitude and that attention in your heart, in your mind, as you breathe in and out gently. Take a few more breaths and imagine just opening your heart space wide and asking if there's anything else you're grateful for. Their friends or community, faith, connections that you appreciate and feel attentive to. To open your heart to other things than in your life in this moment that you are feeling grateful for. Hold those in your attention. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude. Breathe in imagining or holding in your mind those people, those things, those connections. Breathe in that gratitude. It's also okay if some of our relationships are mixed with other emotions besides gratitude. Be present to that. Breathe it in. As you continue to breathe, just take a moment to hold in your attention all these connections, all these relationships, all these gifts that you are grateful for. Bring them to your attention again together. Breathe in the gratitude you feel. Breathe out gratitude across those connections. And as you are ready, as you continue to just breathe gently, you can bring your attention back to this time, to your body, to each other, gathered in meditation. And as we close, and as you breathe gently, maybe offer a word in silence or out loud or spoken, just a word of gratitude for these gifts. Blessed be, and amen.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, everyone, for being together in that time. Now we move on to our weekly practice of sharing with one another the joys and sorrows of our lives, our personal milestones that we witness and hold in compassion. If you have a sorrow to share today, please type it into the chat box and I will read them aloud. I don't see any sorrows yet. We'll give it another moment. I do. I see one now from Florence. A candle for those having a difficult holiday season who are missing loved ones. Thank you, Florence. There are many of those today, aren't there? Many people missing their loved ones. From Bill Smalley. Thanks to the great human Desmond Tutu on his passing today. That deserves mention. Thank you, Bill. From Beth. Sorrow for the death of Desmond Tutu and wishing good thoughts on my upcoming carotid artery surgery on the 3rd of January. We'll be thinking of you then, Beth. From Jane Foley, a candle for my parents who were alone yesterday because of the weather and the pandemic. I missed them. Sorry, Jane. we have any other sorrows today? Did I miss any? All right, let's pause for a moment and let's hold all these sorrows in our hearts. Let us feel compassion for those people and let us reach out to them and all who are hurting today with a gentle touch. I will light this one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows spoken and unspoken today. It's already lit. How did I do that? I think I lit the chalice. I left it burning. Oh boy, I need some sleep. But that is the candle for all of our sorrows today. And now I would like to ask if you have any joys you want to share in this gathering. If you type them into the chat box, I will read them all aloud. Well, I will share a joy just for looking at all your wonderful faces today and for the fact that I got to see you today and also to have these gifts from Susan Frederick Gray, which are letting me have some peace and time to myself. So that's a joy for me. Oh, and there's my husband, James, a joy for Zoom. While it isn't the same, it is great to be able to see and talk to distant family and friends. And I see one from, let's see, it got scrolled by me. From Cheryl, today would have been my dad's 79th birthday. Remembering him today. Hopeful for a visit to the cemetery today. Thank you, Cheryl. From Jean, gratitude for the technology of Zoom, helping to bring friends and family together during the holidays. Yes. From Beth, joy that we have the technology to connect via Zoom on holidays and any day. From Florence, joy for merry little Christmas at home and spending the upcoming week with my family. Have I missed any joys? Okay, let's pause and hold them in our hearts. And as Susan says, let's hold gratitude for all these joys in our heart. Thank you for sharing them. They help us to connect to one another, and they remind us of the beauty of living. Now I light one more candle to shine out our thanks for all the blessings in our lives. Now is the time for our offertory. Our church is an independent organization supported entirely by your generous annual pledge. You can also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a deserving cause. You can donate either way using the orange button in the top right-hand corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. For December, half of our collection plate goes to the Immigrant Learning Center in Malden. For our offertory music today, we have a beautiful song about this time of the year. It's about visiting one another, people we love, whether in real life or maybe via Zoom virtually, and the way it warms us up to connect with each other. This one is sung by my neighbors here in Lexington. It's the First Parish Virtual Choir with Solstice Song. I will share the lyrics in the chat if you feel like singing along.
Let me come.
Wow. For our sermon today, we have another piece from our UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray. She wrote it just in this last month as a response to this moment where we are now in the world. It is a message for all UUs at this time of the year, at this season in our lives, and she offers practical tools to lift our spirits and keep us open-hearted. It's about 13 minutes.
Dear ones, I'm going to be honest with you. For me, these past few months have been rough. As the pandemic wears on, I have experienced a level of exhaustion I have not known before. And it's not just the pandemic. It's witnessing the devastating impacts of widespread disinformation, the attacks on our democracy, the attacks on people's lives and rights. It's the attack on women's rights and reproductive health. And it is living through the increasingly frequent impacts of climate change. It has all been so much. And there is still so much grief at the loss of loved ones, family members, friends, and the nearly incalculable loss of so many lives to this pandemic. The despair is real. If you are feeling it, I want you to know you are not alone. I knew this in-between or liminal time would be more difficult than the early days of the pandemic, but I didn't really appreciate how it would feel in my body and spirit. But here's the thing that is saving me now. I have found myself out of necessity turning towards gratitude. As we enter this season of holidays and holy days, we have an opportunity to draw our attention to what sustains us, to draw our attention to the sources of love and care and gratitude in our lives. However you celebrate, holidays are a time that, and the rituals that surround them, are an opportunity for reflection. They often invite us to remember our past, which can bring joy as well as sorrow. But they also remind us to be attentive to the present moment. The writer and activist Adrienne Marie Brown writes, "I have had to soften my grip on a fearful future narrative and return to the humility of the present." I have had to soften my grip on a fearful future narrative and return to the humility of the present. Spiritually, in my daily practice, I am leaning into gratitude and attention to the sustaining present moment because I need a way to get in touch with the sources of joy and compassion in my life. Joy and compassion are life-sustaining. We are made for joy and compassion. Leaning into gratitude for this earth, gratitude for the relationships that sustain me, leaning into the presence of love that surrounds me and all of us, leaning into the gift that is present with each breath of life. This practice is bringing more joy and light into my spirit. Gratitude is a foundation for so many of the values and qualities that we hope to nurture. Gratitude helps us appreciate our loved ones and bring more care and attention to that which matters most. With time and consistency, practicing gratitude does nurture more joy in life. It makes us attentive to the beauty and the gifts that surround us and that are not of our own making. Gratitude helps us turn our unrealized desires to an appreciation of what we already have, and for what Adrienne Marie Brown describes as the humility of the present. Gratitude is a foundation for touching the earth with reverence, a practice of seeing life and the beauty of creation as a gift and treating it as such. Practicing gratitude, being intentional in taking time to name what we are grateful for, also reminds us of our fundamental interdependence. When I ask myself, what am I grateful for? I think of the people that I love and who love me. I think of the relationships that sustain me. I think of my sweet dog and how much I love him, how grateful I am for his presence in our family. I think of the gift of the earth. I open my attention and give thanks for the blue sky or the rain, for the trees and the sun, for the wind and the life-giving water. I remember the fundamental interdependence in which I am held, in which all life is held. And I feel that as a source of strength and connection. One of the things I love most about gratitude is that it's concrete. We all know what gratitude means. We know what it is to feel thankful. On the one hand, gratitude is simple and clear. However, when we really foster an intentional practice of being mindful every day, of taking time every day to think about what we are grateful for, to think about the gifts that have come to us and sustain us, we realize that gratitude actually has the power to deeply change our perspective. It has the power to shape and reshape our communities and our culture. Gratitude is incredibly powerful. Gratitude is a concrete practice that with time unlocks a generosity of spirit and a generosity of love. Experiencing our interconnectedness, experiencing the ways that we are not isolated beings, but deeply connected and held by gifts not of our own making, inspires a generosity of spirit for ourselves and for others. It inspires a desire to nurture those connections with love, to pay more attention to what matters. So I am calling myself back to gratitude these days. I am calling myself back to a practice of gratitude to find my way through the grief and the fear and the struggle and the despair. Now, to be clear, this practice of gratitude doesn't make our grief or my grief go away. And it doesn't mean I don't still have moments of fear and anger or feel gripped by despair. Intentional spiritual practice actually makes space for all of us to welcome whatever is present in our hearts. And gratitude reminds me that that is not all that life holds for me. There are so many ways to create a regular practice of gratitude. I know people who have gratitude journals who spend a little time each day writing down 1 or 2 or 3 things that they were grateful for from that day. Many years ago, I had a practice where every time I would cross the threshold of my home, either to leave or to come back home, as I crossed the threshold, I would pause and take a breath, and I would recall something that I was grateful for from the day or from the morning. These days, I am making time in my morning practice to ask myself what I am grateful for and to open my heart to those gifts. When our spirits are worn and weary from grief and loss and fear and anger, which legitimately our spirits are rightfully weary. When we are too short with ourselves or others, too impatient or critical or negative with ourselves or others, gratitude can be a practice that nurtures in us a generosity of spirit, a generosity of kindness. So much right now seeks to isolate us, to divide us, to wear us out and wear us down. Turning towards a concrete practice of gratitude helps combat the ways in which we are being called to isolation and division, because gratitude actually turns us toward each other. Reminds us of our interconnectedness, which is so critically, spiritually needed in our world these days. I know there are times in our lives when our despair and our grief is so great that we may not be able to even name one thing we are grateful for. I know those days are real. However, I also know that even if nothing comes, that just calling our attention to look for things we are grateful for helps open our eyes, our attention, our spirits, so that with time, we can become more aware of the gifts around us. Gratitude and practicing gratitude each day has been saving me. It's been reminding me of joy. It's been inspiring in me more joy, compassion, pleasure, humility. It's been reminding me of the gifts that are present in each moment. And finally, I want to say how grateful I am for all of you, and how grateful I am for this faith that we share. This faith that nurtures and sustains and holds me in these days. My prayer for you, my offering for you, I pray that there may be more moments of gratitude and joy in your days. And know that we are, all of us, deeply connected by unseen but real threads of compassion, of humanity and care. And that this is a source of strength and love in our lives. Blessings to you, blessed be, and I love you.
Thank you, Susan. Wow, that was lovely. I wonder what you thought. If you would like to stay after for our Zoom coffee hour, I would be delighted to hear what you think about Susan's homily, how it landed with you. For now, let's close our worship today. Thinking about the topic of gratitude, I remembered just last night that my favorite scene from my favorite Christmas movie is indeed a song about gratitude. So I thought I would put it in here as an ending celebration to share with you, my church family. Now, we sure don't have permission to share this song on the web, so it will be cut out of the worship video before it gets to YouTube. But here in our closed Zoom room, we can enjoy it together. I will share the lyrics in the chat space if you feel like singing along. I hope you like it. And if you haven't seen this movie ever or not in a while, please give yourself that gift this holiday season. Here is Michael Caine as Scrooge singing the song Thankful Heart at the very end of The Muppet Christmas Carol. Enjoy. Please join me, if you would, in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Microphone. In just a minute, we go into breakout rooms for 15 minutes for our virtual coffee hour. Folks who want to chat about today's service, please stay in the main room. Thank you all for being together with us today. Thank you for worshiping, and have a great Sunday.